Hey everyone. I'm in the process of actually ordering the doors for the kitchen and also the actual drawer boxes. So I wanted to kind of go over how I measured for the drawers and what to do to make sure that your measurements are pretty accurate for the drawer slides. So since I have face frame cabinets, I needed to be able to uh, get a drawer slide that mounts to the side of the cabinet's face frame, um, and then also in the back. This is what Blum has, and this is a 563H drawer slide, and it's a 21-inch Blum Tandem Plus with blumotion. So it actually has a full extension, and so that way you extend your drawer boxes all the way out, so that you have access to all of it. And then it also has the soft close feature built into it. So once you get to a certain point, it closes on its own. So the way you measure for your drawer boxes is really dependent upon the slide that you use. Certainly, if you have different brand than what I'm using, you're going to have to measure yours a little bit differently. But this is how you do it for most Blum drawer boxes. You have to decide what thickness of drawer box you're planning to use. As you can see, you can only fit a certain thickness. So this one is made for drawer boxes that are a 1/2 inch thick or 5/8 of an inch thick. So the way I had to measure it, they say basically in the Blum's technical specs that you actually need to measure the width of the opening and then subtract 3/8 of an inch. So subtracting 3/8 of an inch gives you enough space on each side of the opening to fit this in, and then also enough space in between for the drawer box to fit in there. So here I have a drawer that I need to measure for, and I actually have about 3 of these that are the same size. But it's good to go ahead and measure each and every drawer just to be sure that you have the right spacing, because when you mount those drawer slides, the L brackets here, and they go back, you need to make sure that the distance between these two is exact. So the best thing to do is, and what I did is actually just get a spreadsheet. I use Excel. If you don't like to use Excel, then certainly just get a piece of paper and pencil and write all your measurements down. And I named every one of these so that I know which one I'm taking a measurement of, and I can go back and identify which one it is. So just some description that that you'll recognize. And then you want to go ahead and take your measurements. So here it says 14 and 13/16 by 5 inches high. So your width is going to be your opening minus 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so that's what the drawer box width is. The overall width is going to be 14 and 13/16 minus 3/8 of an inch. You got to subtract that 3/8 of an inch that they require for the drawer slides. So that's going to change it to 14 and 7/16. So your width for the drawer box itself is going to be 14 and 7/16. And the height of your drawer box needs to be at least, I believe it's 7/8. It's either 3/4 or 7/8. I actually dropped them down by an inch total. So I made my boxes 4 inches high, just to give myself enough room. They can mill them for you, and you can put them together and finish them, or they will actually build them, finish them for you. So that's what I'm actually doing, because I don't really feel like doing all that part of the work. It's just going to look a lot better to have them milled from a manufacturer that's doing this all day long. It's just going to make for a lot better fitment and finish. The thing to do when you're doing the drawers, like I said before, is to make sure that you're writing it down. I put it in a spreadsheet and I made all my measurements and I put them in a cell and put a description of all the openings. So for all my drawers, I measured the openings and the heights and then the depth of what it is, what kind of cabinet, how deep the drawer is going to be. So for these cabinets, I'm actually using 21-inch drawer slides. So it predetermines what the depth of your box is based on the slide that you use. So some of my drawers are really deep. Like for my oven cabinet, this cabinet's really deep. It's 26 3/4 deep. So I actually bought 24-inch length slides. So these drawers are going to be 24 inches deep. But these slides are for regular cabinets, and they're 21 inches is the kind of the standard, and that fits in a standard 24-inch depth box. I've shown you how to measure for a drawer, but when you want to measure for doors, it's a little bit different. So for the drawer fronts, you have a measurement of, let's say, this is 29 inches, let's just say. Okay, and then this is going to be 5 inches. So for the type of door that I'm using, this is my particular instance now. I mean, certainly if you have a different kind of door and how you plan to put doors on, if you're having inset doors, it's certainly not going to be an overlap. Mine are going to overlap by a ½ inch on each side. So you take your measurement and then you add an inch to the measurement. So instead of being 5 inches tall, the drawer front is going to be 6 inches tall. And instead of being 29 inches for the opening, it's going to be 30 inches for the width of the drawer front. So for this particular drawer front, the measurement's going to be 30 by 6. So, but for a door, it's a little different. So when you have double doors like this, you want to measure the width. You always remeasure. You just don't assume that it's 29. You just want to make sure that it's 29. So the height of it is 18 and, say 18 1/4, just a little over 18 1/4. 18 and 5/16. So 18 and 5/16. All right, so you want to add an inch to the height. So rather than being 18 and 5/16, it's going to be 19 and 5/16. And then since I'm doing 2 doors, you can't just measure. You gotta be able to split the difference. Okay, so 29 is the opening, plus a ½ inch on each side gives you 30. So you got overall is 30, but you actually are going to be cutting it in half. So the door is going to be half of 30 is 15. So this door is going to be 15, and this door is going to be 15. But it's not just that as easy as that. You want to make sure that since these 2 doors are coming together, you need to give yourself enough gap in between those 2 doors so that they don't touch when they're coming back together. So you want to give yourself about 1/8 of an inch. So you want to knock off a 1/16 off of this one and a 1/16 off of that one. So rather than making it 15, it's going to be 14 and 15/16. And this is going to be 14 and 15/16. So that's how you measure it. And that way you give yourself enough gap in the middle to be able to open and close the doors without any issues. So that's how you do those kinds of doors. For a basic door like this, where it's just hinged on one side, certainly it's just as easy as doing the width, which is 13 1/4. So the width is actually going to be 14 1/4, and then the height is going to be 18 and 5/16, so it's going to be 19 and 5/16, because you're giving yourself an inch extra on, for each side. So that's how you do your measurements for doors. And as you're doing it, just put it into a spreadsheet so you can write it down. That way you don't make a mistake. And because there are a lot, especially if you're doing a full kitchen, or if you're doing a small, doing some kind of a bookcase, or a bar or something like that, where you need some drawers, or some cabinet doors. That certainly helps you keep track of what you have, and allows you to communicate that information to the drawer box manufacturer, or the door manufacturer if you have somebody making your doors, which I'm doing. So hopefully this is helpful and you can use it in your projects in the future. Okay, thanks.